Kasama natin ngayon ang basketball vlogger na si Nico Baguio for more on the upcoming NBA Fantasy Basketball season. Nico, thanks for joining us. I can't think of anybody better to talk to about this.
It's always fun to be
when
here.
We're gonna geek about numbers. Pero, para maintindihan na lahat out there, hindi ibig sabihin magaling ka na player na napapanalo mo yung team mo. Hindi ibig sabihin you're a good fantasy player. Paki-explain, simple terms, bakit ganun yung scenario?
Yeah, kasi in fantasy, wala namang pakialaman about impact sa team.
Correct.
You can be a numbers getter and be a great fantasy player and be a detriment to your team. That's happened before. A prime example is someone like, for example, Jamal Crawford.
Okay.
Or who was siguro mga top 50 before kasi yun yung nasa New York pa siya before siya sumali sa actual winning team. He was actually one of the top fantasy players during that time. Although nung time na yun, papel-papel pa.
Okay.
Pero
papel talaga.
Papel. posible ka maging top fantasy player and be not a good team player.
Okay. Well, how do things change? I mean, like nga ito, season, every off season, inaabangan to ng mga fantasy experts. Ano yung mga tinitignan nilang pagbabago para maiba yung ranko ng isang player na sabihin nila, ito na yung value ng player na to dahil sa ganitong nangyari sa kanya?
Usually, ang tinitignan ng mga fantasy experts from different sites is two things, minutes and role.
Okay.
If those two change one way or another, there's a big chance na magpapalit ang ranking mo. So a prime example of that is Russell Westbrook this coming season.
No-brainer.
No-brainer.
Number one na yan.
No-brainer, number one. Even before umalis si Kevin Durant, he was already producing as a top 10 fantasy player, possibly even top 5.
Okay.
Without Durant, it's going to be just destruction everywhere. Triple-double is very much in the table, although we've seen Russell Westbrook almost average a triple-double for a month. Can he do it for 82 games
season.
or a whole season? That's the question. Pero definitely kaya niya.
Okay.
There's no question who the top guy is. For the other spots, depende pa.
So malamang nagbago yung 2 to 5. Well, 1 to 5 obviously nagbago because Westbrook jumps to number 1. Pero yung 2 to 5, hindi pa sigurado yan kung sino mga nandyan. Okay.
From last season kasi, yung top 5, unanimous top 5 is Curry, Harden, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and KD.
Okay. Westbrook wasn't even in the top 5.
Yeah, Westbrook was possibly not in the top 5. Although you can argue maybe he should have been there. Pero yun yung parang karamihan ng mga experts. Yun yung top 5 nila. Some go, parang iba-iba yung position, pero yun yung parang consensus top 5. Yung this year, iba. LeBron's going to go down.
Right.
Because at this point, si LeBron medyo alam na nating nagko-coast siya usually sa regular season. And his minutes is binabantayan na ng Cleveland. KD and Curry will go down kasi they're already forming a super team.
They'll share the ball.
Yeah, they'll share the ball. The shots won't be... Kumbaga, hindi na sila yung magiging focal point nung offense nila. Although, may improvement sa mga other important fantasy categories like field goal percentage and free throw percentage. Field goal percentage lang. It's going to be minimal compared to yung hit nila sa other counting stats. Yung top 5 ngayon, at least for me, is
your top 5?
Russell Westbrook, obviously. James Harden is number 2. Because yun nga, he's playing with Mike D'Antoni. And I have Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, and Kawhi Leonard in there.
Kawhi Leonard? Okay, interesting.
Kasi sa fantasy, it's all about yung demand. Filling in the demand. It's a well-known secret, although walang gusto magsabi. Pinag-aagawan ng 3 special categories: 3-pointers made, steals, and blocks. The more a player contributes to those 3 things, while not being a detriment to other categories, helpful siya. Kaya si Westbrook, although hindi siya nakakatulong, si Westbrook kasi special case Kasi si Westbrook, although he doesn't shoot a lot of threes, he doesn't get a lot of blocks, he contributes huge numbers from other. Pero yung iba, si Harden, si Anthony Towns, si Davis, si Kawhi, lahat yun nagko-contribute dun sa 3 categories na yun.
Well, nabanggit na natin yung pag-angat, most likely ni James Harden. Now, that's a case na hindi malamang magbabago yung minutes, hindi malamang magbabago yung role, pero what effect does a new coach have on players increasing his rankings sa fantasy?
Yeah, rarely do you see yung effect ng coach sa isang player in a fantasy perspective. Special case kasi si Mike D'Antoni because yung for the past few teams na kinoach niya, the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Suns, lahat yon they increased their pace by about 15 possessions more.
So that's a fact. That's a proven stat.
That's a historical observation talaga na usually yung teams na, kumbaga, if you're hiring Mike D'Antoni and you're not playing fast, you're going to get a lot more possessions. So that helps James Harden. 10 more possessions for James Harden to probably get an assist, probably get a 3-point
shots.
Yeah, 5 more
if
shots.
he takes half the shots. Grabe.
So that will help a lot for James Harden as a fantasy player.
Grabe. Okay. Interesting din dyan, sinama mo sa top 5 was si Karl-Anthony Towns, one of the younger players, of course, but coming off a great rookie season. How does a Rookie of the Year jump right away to being a top 5 value for fantasy?
Yun nga, yung 3 biggest or at least scarcest categories sa fantasy, 3-pointers made, steals, blocks. He's helpful there. He doesn't shoot a lot of threes, pero from what we've read, he's planning on really expanding his range over there. Steals, blocks, he's averaging around 2 blocks. Steals around 1. Those are going to be helpful. And the bigger thing is, he doesn't do a lot of something well, pero he does a lot of things really above average. Kumbaga,
on a lot of
good on a lot of stats, doesn't hurt. Kumbaga, wala siyang, hindi mataas turnovers niya, maganda field goal niya, maganda free throw niya. He rebounds a lot, he gets assists. So, although hindi siya magdo-dominate sa one category, he's going to be helpful on everything.
So, where was he last year? I mean, of course, pag rookie season, ang hirap i-rank. Maraming susugal, so ito fluctuate the average. But towards the end, where did he end up ranking?
He was around top 10. Top 10. Dun sa ranking based on yung week or month. He finished, I think, around top 20.
Galing. So with others from the top 10 gonna go down, like the guys in Golden State, and then him improving a bit.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That'll be everything he needs to jump to that top 5 fantasy player status.
A bit on Kawhi Leonard. Bakit kaya? Is it have anything to do with Tim Duncan retiring? Na all the more his role to be the leader, the takeover guy will be there. Paano na-expect natin na he will have more production from last year?
It's just the fact na yung aside from Tim Duncan retiring, although it doesn't really have a big effect considering Tim Duncan didn't play a lot last year and it didn't affect Kawhi's numbers. It's just more on yung idea lang na si LeBron and si KD, yung other top 5 possible.
They're going down.
Si Kawhi kasi consistent na siya.
Correct.
You're getting 20, you're getting 7, you're getting 2, you're getting 2. That's 2 steals and then 2 threes.
And he's continually improving, kahit incremental. So the little bump up and everybody else going down, similar to Towns, nandun siya. Okay, so how do you give this advice? I mean, when they're gonna draft, of course, we're many weeks away from that, but maraming mga fantasy addict dyan, nag-aaral na ngayon, how they're gonna look at this and how they're gonna draft their players. What basic advice could you give, the fantasy players out there, what to look for, and what teams to look for? Na sometimes you find these hidden gems, nga pala, si ganyan. Na solid contributor.
Ang biggest advice ko usually is, it's either you go small or you go big.
Okay.
You don't do, obviously, everybody has a different strategy in fantasy. Pero ako, usually, it's either go small or go big. You either dominate the free throws, the 3-point made, and the steals category by drafting players who do all 3 well. Or you draft bigs and dominate the blocks, the rebounds, and the field goal.
This is rather than the typical logic of trying to get a well-balanced team,
well-balanced
which is very
team.
hard to do.
Depende din kasi kung anong type of scoring. That's usually helpful for head-to-head. Pag rotisserie, dun mas maiintindihan yung pag-compose ng isang balanced team. You get a good field goal percentage big and a good point guard. Pero other than that, pag head-to-head talaga, it's either you go small or you go big.
Well, I prefer head-to-head. Pag rotisserie, chicken na pag-uusapan natin. Ayoko na. Sakit sa ulo. It's too long of a season. But anyway, Nico, maraming salamat. Continue to debate with him on Twitter if you want at Nico Baguio. Thanks so much, Nico.
Hi guys, keep watching The Score for the latest sports updates and don't forget to subscribe to the ABS-CBN Sports in Action YouTube channel.